Hello. Okay, so I got a message in my inbox a couple of days ago from this girl asking if her deficit was considered safe. I'm actually going to pull up the messages now so that I can make sure that I cover everything that I wanted to cover when I read through this and looked at it. So, first of all, she said that like from what I can gather, she hasn't really been counting her food prior. All she's done, because all of a sudden she's like, oh my god, I want to lose weight, is she jumped onto the internet and calculated her BMR. But I'm not sure if it was the internet or if it was MyFitnessPal, because I'll go through the whole thing later. But she calculated her BMR to be 1,879. Now, when it comes to calculating anything with any calculator, whether it be MyFitnessPal or the internet, it's a ballpark measure, and our bodies don't know math. The calculators don't know us, and like for some people it might be bang on the money, but for a lot of us, especially like advanced trainers and athletes, or maybe those that are like really overweight, they can be very inaccurate. Like, I know someone who was very overweight did their math in a calculator and it said their BMR was like 2000 and something. So then their TDEE was like something else, and then they kept eating that and they were wondering why they're gaining weight. It's like because you're eating too much food. But the thing that really triggered me in this post, which is why I really wanted to make a video, is that she goes on to say, my macros have stayed the same as I haven't really been focusing on them because I'm doing a calorie deficit. So I asked her what her macros are. But then she said that she had to alter the settings of MFP, MyFitnessPal, so that it did show her calories. And with the deficit that she's on, it spat out her macros. Now, MyFitnessPal is if you're using MyFitnessPal to calculate anything, it is complete. Like, I put in my stats in MyFitnessPal once, and it told me that in order to maintain my weight, I needed to eat 1,500 calories. And at this point, I was eating 1,700. Wait, no, this was ages ago. I was eating 1,800 back then, and I was maintaining my weight on that because I was actually pretty, like, I trained really hard back then. Right now, I'm in between 1,700 to 1,800, but like, if you look at the macro split that they give you, the protein is ridiculous. Like, it was telling me I needed to eat 90 grams of protein. And there was another time that I logged on after, because I don't really use MyFitnessPal at all. But then the other day I decided to log on to see what it will say, and for some reason it said, I think because I'm not as heavy as I was last time I used it, but it told me that I needed 82 grams of protein in a whole day. Now, considering I eat about 170 grams of protein, just because I do like protein, a high protein diet, that is like ridiculous. And seeing this, it says that, I don't exactly know how she split it up. I think it's per meal that she said it, but 42 grams of carbs, 12 grams of fats, and 25 grams of protein. But I'm sort of thinking, if I do them 4, 5, 6, 7, that doesn't even equal 100%, so it's not going to be percentages. So I'm thinking that's like per meal or something. I'm not exactly sure, but that is a ridiculous amount of protein. That's double the carbs to the protein as well. And like, okay, so I just actually want to address the main question at hand here, and she's wondering if she's like, in order to lose weight properly, for starters, there's no proper way to, like, there's a safe way, but there's no perfect properly way. But it says you want to aim for a 500 calorie deficit per day. Now, 500 calorie deficit per day is based off the fact that 3,500 calories equals a fat gram, a fat kilo. The thing is, when you're losing weight, you're not just losing it from your fat stores. You'll be losing glycogen, you'll be losing water, you'll be losing some muscle tissue as well, because unless you're doing everything you can to maintain it and doing it slowly, which by doing losing 500 calories, like going into the 500 calorie a day ballpark, that's an absolute calorie deficit. Whenever I do calorie deficits to like lose weight with my clients, I do it around 200. I aim for 200 calories a day deficit. Sometimes less, sometimes more. But I do it sustainably for them because like for one, it's going to be much more sustainable, and for two, it's allowing a slower process. And you know how when you're going slower, you're able to maintain much more muscle mass. You're able to still have your NEAT up, which is what I've been going through with this video series. And like the deficit that she gave me was 1460. Now going off her statistics, she's 172 centimeters tall and more than 100 kilos. So that is a pretty brutal deficit. And if it's 1,900 calories as her BMR, and that's her BMR, that's not her actual like TDEE level. Like if you factor in, that's like there's your BMR, and then there's your total daily energy expenditure, which is what puts you at maintenance. So if that's probably not her BMR, I bet her BMR is like 1,600 or something. But then if you add on everything else, her TDE probably would put her at about 20 at that height and that body weight, probably about 2,100 calories would be her maintenance. So if you're going to take 500 calories from there, that will put you at 1,700 as a ballpark measure for a deficit, which is a lot like more sustainable. But the thing is, she's only just aiming to start these macros. So if you're going to put in all your tools into the basket, which is what I'm saying in all of these video series, on like the whole bulking cutting cycle, if you're going to take all the tools out of the toolbox straight away, your body's going to adapt quick stat, and then where are you going to pull from? Are you willing to drop under 1,460 calories? That would be my question to you. Like, you can't, the fact that you haven't been to the gym in ages and you haven't exercised properly in ages, that leaves a little bit more in the tank for you to actually draw from the deficit. But eating that much food, are you going to have the energy and the capacity to do that? Now, coming from a higher body weight, you're going to be able to lose weight, lose fat, and gain muscle at the same time if you do put in the right steps to train hard at the gym. So why not just go into a safer deficit? Because if your aim is to actually feel better in your skin, be more confident, and live an overall better life and be more empowered through your decisions, through food, through everything, and have a better food relationship, like you mentioned here. Because she said that if you focus on two different things, you end up doing nothing at all. If you want to be able to feel in control of having both, then wouldn't you want to see it as a long run and not, I need to get this done now in the next 12 weeks? Because like being so fresh to actually starting a transformation, I promote lifestyle a lot with my clients, unless there's like a comp date, which if I see their photos and they look like they're about 2 years out from doing a comp, and like it's not just like I can tweak anything when it comes to body composition, but if their mindset is 2 years out from a comp, then I will make sure that I figure out the why. What is it they're trying to feel? What is it that they're chasing? What is it that this comp is going to bring them? Is there another way that they can get that? Is there another way that we can make them feel more empowered within their skin, empowered within their lives, make them feel like they accomplished something without having to put themselves through a process that's only going to worsen their relationship with their body and with food, and bring them out the other end really shit, because we're going to have to haul in so much before that comp date. Like, if you're not willing to go through these steps, then you're not going to have a fun life. You're not going to have a fun transformation. You're not going to be able to do life, which is why I put in so much effort to make sure that my clients understand everything, and why I give so much to my VIP group. Because if they put in the effort to actually go through the videos, the learning units, everything that I put into that group, they will come out so much better by the end of the week, just by catching up on this stuff, that they will come to me with different goals, different aspects. Like, there was a lady that signed up with me the other day that was so hell-bent on competing, and she had made a realization that it's not all about that anymore. She just wants to feel like alive and empowered and better than she was the day before, the week before. Like, there is so much more to it than just getting shit done like that. Like, I always approach things like, I want to get things done right now so then I can just take the gas off a little later. But then you realize that in trying to do everything right now, you're just overwhelming yourself. And if you have so much clutter in your head, you end up getting nothing done. That is why I allow myself some days to just go full balls to the wall, and then realize that other days I need to pull back. Like, there are a couple of days where I'm just like lying down. I might be doing some work on my phone, I might be doing some other stuff, but I just lie down for a good while just to like recollect myself. Because then the other days I'm just go, go, go. Especially on client feedback days, I'm just go, go, go. So, oh, this is going to be another ramble. But I'm really hoping that you can get a lot from these, because I do go off onto tangents, and a lot of the tangents, a lot of people say, do help them. But the thing is, she said that she's the type of person to get motivated and excited to go full steam ahead, and then not, because she can't get a control of her eating and her training at the same time. But when you're coming from such a beginner level, I always say, don't worry about the training. I get them to come on, coach them through everything with my premium coaching. This is what I usually do to someone, so you do this to yourself, because you're obviously not under me. But do everything that you normally do, but let's change your eating. Let's focus on habits. Habits first. Consistency, routine, making it something, like using this motivation and just this this sprinting focus to set up habits and consistency, to set up something that is going to be effortless when we start implementing the training, the walking. Start off slow. Like, you don't need to sign up to a gym straight away. Do some Tabata at home. Do some walking. Do 30, like, if you're not someone that likes going like intense, do some walking around the block. Just get your steps up, get your activity up, get into the routine. Like, maybe set out a gym time 3 times a week, but instead of going to the gym, you use that time to go for a walk. Use that time to just get active, because that can transform your progress so much just by having that routine, because then all you have to do is advance it. Just advance that step without adding anything extra to your day. So, pretty much, to answer this whole question in the TLDR, which I should remember is at 13 minutes, because I might mention that. The TLDR is, if you calculated your BMR, not your TDEE, to be at 19,000 calories, then the worst thing you can do is take a deficit from there and take an absolute deficit versus a relative deficit. Because the relative deficit, I usually say, should be between what, depending on how you want to approach it and how much your body responds. Like, there are some people where you have to take a shitload from them to see any results, and then there are some people where just taking a littlest bit, you can see results. Like, for me, you need to take a shitload from me to see anything. And if I'm actually going through the proper stages and I've cut down and followed my diet to a T at, say, 1,400 calories, which is probably what I will need, because I'm not like, I'm pretty lean as it is. That's what I will need to be able to prep for comp 1,500, then to be able to come back up again, I can easily just drop my food back up to 1,700, 1,800. Probably 1,700 will be my thing. Like, I need to take bigger jumps for my body to actually take effect. Like, there are some other people where you can just take the smallest chunk and voila. So you need to know thyself, and I would never start off that brutal. So don't take it from your BMR, take it from your TDEE. Don't take an absolute calorie deficit, take a relative one, which I would say, with coming from where you're at, and if you're sitting at about 2,100, I would say go to about 1,700, 1,800 to start with, because you said you're sedentary. So I would first go with 17, probably 1,750 just to be safe, maybe 1,800, and get in some walks, because that will get you into more of a deficit, and then probably cut your food back a little bit more, in about 3 weeks time after assessing where you're at, because in that 3 weeks you could like starting from where you're at, you will definitely see change. You will drop probably about 4 kilos in 2 weeks just from holding, because when you're starting at that, you end up holding a lot of like glycogen, a lot of stuff from the food that you have been eating. So yeah, but if you've been severely under eating, then that's a totally different story. I'm coming from this as in you've been overfeeding yourself into the state that you're at. And the fact that you haven't been macro counting, I'm taking it as that. So I hope that helps. I really hope that helps. If not, just keep your eyes tuned for the rest of my series, which I'm going to film another one now, and that's going to be uploaded on Thursday because I'm hoping to do this one today.